Hello, hello. If I know there's not anyone on at this moment, we're just going to wait for some friends to pop in. But if someone could let me know if they can hear me okay, that would be wonderful. Let's hope this is working. I am doing it solo tonight. Kevin and Annie are in Orlando preparing for Stamp Anything retreat. See, we've got some people on. Right. Yeah, if you can let me know in the comments if you can hear me, that would be wonderful. Hello, Trey. Hello, Julie. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. Oh, Trey says he hears me. So, all right. Hello, Kathy. How are you? Is everyone ready for the final cauldron of creativity? I'm actually good. Yay. Okay, perfect. I can't believe I'm doing it on my own. As I said, Kevin and Anne are in Orlando. They're getting ready to do the six Stamp Anything retreat. I can't remember what number this one is. Six or seven? I can't remember. Um, but yeah, the theme for this one is the Muppets. It's happening this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, so they've been busy, busy, busy doing that. And I am back here. So let me just see if I can switch cameras. Oh, that worked. Yay. All right. So let's just go over the products. And I'm going to see if I can share. Let's see here. Share. So let's see. Where can I do this on my own? Nope, it's not that one. It's this one. Okay. So for the the last number of weeks, we've used stamp sets, die sets. So the first die set is this one. It is Arcane Impressions. Let me see if I can actually put up. There's the QR code for those that want it. So yeah, oh, this way. So we have, witch or wizard hat, a crow, bones, feathers, a witch's broom, bats, pumpkin, potions, cauldrons, candles, lots of goodness on there. And this one is a 6x8 stamp set. So that is the Arcane Impressions stamp set that we use. And then the second one, this one is my favorite. And this one is Toil and Texture. And this way, as you can see, we've got some really awesome fonts, and they are distressed, give lots of texture to live up to the name. And then these beauties right here. These textured backgrounds are amazing. I love them. We've used them a lot. And there are coordinating dies for both of these sets. And it even cuts out the background ones. Then we have let me see if I can grab these out. It's a bit of a mess. And I am going to put up, I believe, this was set, this is Memory Dex Arch. So this is just your basic Memory Dex Arch. And then this piece is if you want to turn a card into a Memory Dex, or you want to reinforce something, you can create your own Memory Dex using any shape, if that makes sense. And then the second one was the Memory Dex tall die with pockets. So here's the tall die. And I'll show these. I'll go over our products or what we created again. So here is the tall die and the pocket that coordinates with it. And what I like about this one is it's perfectly sized for in here. So um, if you want to have a nice matted background on your thing, if I can, it's hard doing this when it's reversed. Um, yes, you can have just the perfect little matting like so. You just have to cut the tabs off. So let's get rid of that. And we're going to go back to the chat so I can see. Okay, so we'll go over what we've created so far. So our first week, we created, here's this using the little arch die, this memory decks. We used the Toil and Texture stamp set and the Arcane Impressions. We did, if you remember, we did the collage paper. I showed you how to make collage paper, ink smushing, ink blending, and then we created, we used multi-stamping to get these cool different colors on the stamps. So that was the arched um, memory decks. And then this one we used the tall pocket. Um, and again, I can't remember, does it, do I have this? No, this doesn't. This can be a tuck in, I think is what we did for this one. So you can tuck a picture in or whatever. But I love how this one turned out. And on the back, we just did some collage, used our collage paper. Thank you, Julie. And then we finished off our first week and we made a card, just a simple card using one of our backgrounds, using texture paste and just some simple stamping. So that was week one. Week two, we used the pocket die again. And this, we can pull that piece out. This was that from the, what is it, Toil and Texture stamp set, and you could journal on the back or put pictures on it, but love how that turned out. And we did use some of our collage paper behind there. We did some texture paste using some, we used embossing. Was it, no, we used glitter on this, didn't we? I can't remember. But yeah, and we did, where's my camera? We made thick word cuts. And then we did, oh, how can we forget? We did gel plate the second week. So we did, that was the base of this background. And then we did a gel plate using this with some texture paste. I love how that one turned out. So we made 2 cards and 3 memory decks. Now I want to show, does this one have, I don't have examples of what this can do, but this basically you can die cut it out like I said. And for instance, I think I showed you guys this the previous week of I made a Christmas memory decks. But if you look behind here, I die cut out just some pattern paper. I used this die and I just cut off the tabs, and it gives that perfect matting around your memory decks. So you don't have to use it as a pocket if you want, but it's certainly awesome as a pocket. What I would probably do with it is use this pocket and put it on the back of my memory decks. And then you have another tuck-in space, or you could, fold up some paper and journal if you wanted. So I think that's everything. So what I wanted to do this week is just something a bit different. I wanted to use some of our gel plate backgrounds that we created. And I want to just make some, I guess you'd call them like 3D objects or projects. So I'm going to switch the camera back to my tabletop. So if you remember last week, we created a bunch of yummy backgrounds on the gel plate. Let me just zoom this out a bit. Love the texture on these. So let's just go over. our backgrounds. I actually used leaves from our backyard on the gel plate. Can't go wrong with bubble wrap. This one was a multi-stamp, I think, using the what do you call it? Ghost print from the um, gel plate. Sorry, I'm having a hard time finding my words. Love how this one turned out. And this one too. I think I liked how everything turned out. That's a gorgeous background there. This one's really fun too. Then we just have kind of a simple, this would be great for some, card backgrounds like we did on this one. It's a nice, not too much going on, something you can build on. Um, then we have this green. Ooh, this is really fun too. Maybe I might want to use this one and then just a basic green. And what I like about all of these is, save all of these pieces because you could die cut. Just say you know, you want to do some green leaves in the summertime. Die cut out. If you have a leaf die, this is perfect. You can die cut out things that are green or whatever. Um, so yeah, so for my first project of tonight, I want to make a little trick or treat goodie bag that you can give out to the trick or treaters at your house. So I think it was when we moved to our current house, it was during the pandemic, and they had asked if you could put all the treats in a little like cellophane bag to give to people, just, to keep everybody safe. So I created these cute little bag headers, and I had run a business out of my house. So I had just put a little sticker on the back saying compliments. I'm a dog groomer, so it said compliments of Kevin and Steven, Bark Avenue Dog Grooming. And I had so many messages to my business after of how much they loved the little trick or treat things. So if you have a business, a service you're wanting to promote too, it's perfect. Side note. So I'm kind of thinking for this, you guys let me know which one you'd like me to use. I'm thinking either this one or this one. So this is option one, option two, or let's pick, what would be another good one for this? Option three. Let me know. And does anybody have any questions before I continue on? So yeah, let me know which background you'd like to see me play with. And sorry, I am just getting over getting sick. And I can let you know the real reason why we had to reschedule all of my lives, because we ended up my dog has a heart condition, and we got an appointment back in the province where we used to live. So we had to travel home for her specialist appointment. Number three. Hi, Kevin. Julie says number one. So yeah, we traveled home for her heart specialist appointment, and then we decided to surprise our family, but it messed up two of the days uh, for when the live was supposed to be. So we ended up, that's why we switched them to Mondays, and it also messed with Canadian Thanksgiving. So yeah, so we have one or three. So we need one more vote to break whichever of these we're using. Let me know. One or three, one or three. And while we're deciding, I'll get my paper trimmer. Well, I'm going to go with three. This one is really awesome, but this is just a little less um, busy, and I think because we're gonna be layering on top of it, and this is so impactful, I don't wanna waste it when we're gonna be covering up a lot. So, we'll go with option 3. So I'm going to this is what I do for all of my, gel print backgrounds is I was saying this, I cut them down to A2 size card fronts. So I take this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I gel printed on, and I'm gonna cut them down to 5.5 by 4.25. I find sometimes you have all these backgrounds and you're like, what do I do with it? Well, you get inspiration sometimes when you cut them down and you see them in a different perspective. So let's see. So we've got these are now our new pieces. So we've got 1, 2, which I really like how it's got these lines on it. This I love the bubble wrap. That's pretty cool. And then we've got this piece. So I'm kind of thinking these two here. Now, actually, let me just, my light is, there we go. So I am thinking this one. Thank you, Julie. They're my Wednesday nails. They get done on Monday, a week today. So yeah, I am going to just start by folding this in half. And I want to, you can totally leave the white on if you want. That bugs me because I want it to all be cohesive. So I'm going to cut that off. So let's just see how much. So I think I'm going to have this be 3 3/4. And I'm just going to cut the white off the bottom just so that it is not showing at all. So it makes it about 2.5. And I just have a tiny bit of white in that corner, but we're going to use this side. Okay, so now we've got our little tag topper. And you know what? I think I want to take a bit more off. It's kind of long, so I'm going to make it, let's make this 2.25. And that'll get rid of, and you know, if you're really like save pieces, you can save these. These make really cool, let me just grab let's say this is like a 4.25 by 5.5 inch. You can totally use these for your card making. Like they can be little pieces that you put behind, like where is it? Like for this, for example, you can tuck these things in behind things, put them on an angle. They add a little bit of texture and grunge. So yeah, everything can be used. Okay, so we've got our little, this is going to be our, what do you call it? Topper? Is that what you call it? Topper on a treat bag topper. And I just absolutely love the bubble wrap. I don't know which side I'm going to want to use, but so much goodness in that. And we have 3 other backgrounds that we can play with. And these would be perfect for, you could do some grungy Valentine's cards, you know, the the colors are universal. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna grab a piece of, this is just hammer mill, um, and I need my Misty. Okay, I gotta clean my sticky mat. It's so dirty. not sticking as well. So I'm going to use the Arcane Impressions. And let me just see if I can pop that up again. Arcane Impressions. So it's this stamp set I'm going to use, and there is coordinating dies. And this is a bundle actually. So, um, all right. So I'm going to use that, and I want to use the Cauldron. So I'm going to use the Cauldron. We'll just pop that on. I think I'm going to just do this one at a time. Okay, so Cauldron, I'm going to, let's see, I have a black ink that I can use. What? I'm going to use, these are just some dye inks. Sadly, MFT is not around, but I'm going to use cement gray and milk chocolate. So like a gray and a brown. So I'm going to, these are just a dye-based ink, but use whatever you've got. So I'm going to put the cement gray on, and then I'm going to just add a bit of the brown. We'll see what we get. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go soften. I think I'm going to do this one at a time. Might get some of that brown on still. It's actually kind of cool. And I think I want to go for a softer. I'm going to do this craft color. It's just not quite as... There we go. And I'm going to just grab one of these. Get this. Sorry, ASMR there. I'm going to just pick up some using a blender brush and kind of just paint. Yeah, that's good. Just to soften. Yeah, that's getting what I want. Yes, I like that. Okay, that is good. And let me just grab a white. So is everybody ready for Halloween? Are they excited? I know I see some people on here that are going to be at the Stamp Anything retreat this weekend. So I'm sure you're super excited about that. This will be the first one I've ever missed. And I'm going to use next the potion bottle. And I'm going to pick a green. I'll actually put these aside. So I need a green. Let's do, I'm going to use this kind of dirty green here. I'm going to stamp the top portion first. Ooh, I like how that looks. Okay. And I want to get just the sides. Let's see if I can get this on camera. I have a bit of the cork. That's okay. And I'm going to go pick a brown. I think I'm going to use a mini ink cube. That might be easier. And I'm just going to do, using my mini ink cube, I'm just going to, pick up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just to get there. We've got some of that brown if that shows up. Thank you, Julie. I'm gonna miss seeing you guys too. So many people that I'm gonna miss. Um, and I'm going to hit the sides of this bottle like we did before. I'm just gonna use my pick up some ink. Yes, I like how that looks. That really just added. And I'm going to take some inspiration from the artist here and add a bit more of the brown just around there where it looks like it's darker. Yeah, that's good. Just building it up. Perfect. Love how that looks. And I kind of wish I would have done it. I wonder if I can just, yeah, we'll just go with this just to, yeah, just to give it that bit more grunginess. I like that. Okay, let's clean off this. And then I think I want to use the adorable little slug from this set. We've got to have a slug. Um, I love. I think we used this guy already, so let's use the other one. And I'm going to just stamp him. Let's just stick with the small ink cubes. I think they're a bit easier. So I'm just going to stamp him in this kind of crafty color. And sorry, this is off camera. And then I'm going to go in with a darker brown. Yes, much better. We'll do his little antenna. I don't know if that's what you'd call them. And let's grab a medium brown color now. And just lightly stamp on top. Let's do more. Yeah, I like that. Perfect. So, Julie, are you all packed for this weekend, or do you and Jana still have packing to do? All right. So, next thing actually I want to do before I go is I don't know if I left enough room on this to stamp one of my sentiments. Let me just see. Maybe I'll go with the smaller one. Boo to you. And this one is this is Toil and Texture. Let me see if I can pop that up. Toil and Texture. The bundle for that includes the dies and the 6x8 stamp set. All right. So I'm going to use Boo to you. Let's just plop that on. And I think I want to do, let's do it in I think I want to pick up kind of the tones of this. Or do I want to go with it? Yeah, let me go for like a purple. Let me see if I can find a purple that I like. Maybe if I use a big. It would be easier if I had a smaller ink pad. I'm going to just use this one here. So I'm going to try. Actually, you know what? I can just stamp the whole thing. And I want to stamp this bottom part in black. So let's just ink this up. Julie says, pretty close. Jana is at my dad's coming here tomorrow to pack her stuff and going back to dad's Wednesday night and fly out Thursday. All right, now I'm going to grab a black. I'm just going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black. And I am going to do my best to just stamp the bottom. But you know what? I'm just going to use this to mask off and make sure that's nice and inked. And let's stamp it. Hello, my crafty adventures. How are you? There we go. So we have a nice two-tone. I kind of want to do a little bit darker at the bottom of the boo. Let me see. Maybe I'll add a bit of a brown and just see what happens, because that might kind of muddy it up, which I think will be good. Yeah, that's much better. I like that. Perfect. All right. So let's get these die cut out. It's hard to believe this is our final live for this. The funny thing is, I swear, Anne and I started planning this. When was that? Back in, where did I put mine? Had to be in June, May or June. So it's kind of, when Halloween wasn't even on the brain. I'm going to grab the die for this. Need a pokey tool. Okay, so let's close this baby up. Hello, Joyce. How are you? No worries. You can always catch the replay. I think this is this guy here. Oh, jeez. And we need the potion bottle. And we need the Boo to You. That makes me think of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I'm sure those that are Disney fans are probably singing it right now as well. Okay, so let me just get these. Maybe we can do a one pass wonder. Okay. So let's get this lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So does anybody have a favorite image from this set? What did they love about all of the images or dies? Or is there a technique you learned that you really liked? You guys are a quieter bunch tonight. Okay, I'm gonna just run this through my die cut machine. It's hard to believe that Halloween is like, is it a week Friday? One pass through the new machine. Yes, exactly. Okay. And you finally got your goodies too, Joyce. There we go. Don't love how this turned out, but maybe I can do a little zhuzhing with a Copic marker. Let's show you how I troubleshoot when I don't like something. Copics are always to the rescue. Let me just pop these dies back on so I don't lose them. Okay, just let's see. I'm gonna grab. Let's just do a W3 Copic marker. Just want to emphasize, and you know what it is? I think it's the inside of the cauldron. We need to darken that. Let's go with a W5. I'm just going to go in with the W0. All right. So we've got, this is kind of what I'm thinking. So we have our cauldron. We have our potion bottle, a slug friend, and our boo to you as our tag topper. And you could just leave it at that. But what I'm thinking is we need something added on the back of that. So I'm going to either, I think I'm going to use I want to use the toil and texture set, or do I want to, maybe the bone. What do you think? Should I stamp the bone behind this, or should I just use like maybe the burlap texture? You know what? I'm gonna go with the burlap. I'm just gonna stick with my gut. Where's my block? I need a block. I'm just gonna stamp this, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see what happens. Now you can't just, because this is paint, I can't just stamp using any ink. So I would have to use something that is a solvent base, so like the archival ink, because this will dry on anything. So I think I want to use the brown. I'm going to use a brown vintage photo archival ink. Doesn't have to be perfectly stamped. Let's just take this off. And we need a little bit of texture. Oh, you know what? You can't even really see. It's so subtle. So it's going to be black. We'll go to black. Shift gears. So jet black. Take two. Yeah, that's better. Okay, perfect. You know what? Why don't we just do a little bit on here? Let's just right there. Okay. And let's get these on. Get my glue. Okay. And we have two options here. If we don't like it, we flip it around. The joys of paper. Okay, so I want the cauldron right here. So we're going to glue that on. Okay. Then we're going to pop our potion bottle. And of course, it's me, so I can't just keep everything flat. I'm gonna pop up the Boo to You. I'm gonna stick this on right here. And then I'm going to pop our adorable little slug friend right there. Just have him kind of come in from behind. And if you really wanted, you could have cut a little slit out of here and had the slug coming out of there. But I like how this looks. And I went to, if I can find it, I tried to be organized here. So I went to our dollar store and I picked up these occasions cookie bags. And there's like a disc on the bottom, but I didn't use that. So I just took a cello bag and I'm going to pop some candies. Let me just, so, the little candies you get trick-or-treating. Oh, so we have an Aero bar, Coffee Crisp. I don't think my American friends have Coffee Crisp. Obviously not. We've got a Canadian flag here. Kit Kat. I think you guys have Kit Kat. But you don't have Smarties. These are chocolate. What is it? Sugar-coated chocolate. So a little bit of Canadian in there. So I'm going to just pop these in the goodie bag. And you can put as many as you'd like. I'm going to cut off some of this excess. All right, and we're going to take our little tag topper. Let's pop it on, get these down. And I apologize, I don't have a proper stapler, so I'm just going to use this guy. But if you have a proper stapler, it will look much better. And we have a Boo to You trick-or-treat bag. You can give this to your Halloween visitors, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, your friends. So what do you guys think? And like I said, if you have a business like I did, I just put a little sticker on the back saying compliments of my business. It's advertising, business expense. How often do you get to have a business expense that is candy, right? So project 1. What do you guys think? I hope you like it. So yeah, there's project 1. Now, I had another idea that I thought was really fun. If you're having maybe a Halloween party at your house, let me just put this back. So let me just, so I'm going to grab some vellum and I'm just going to cut this down. So this is just vellum. And let me grab my Misty again. And I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm not going to say until the end. All right. So I am going to grab the bat from the Arcane Impressions. Yes, Kevin says, and Stephen has done this. It's not just for show. He's fully done up bags for kids, and I hate kids, which is true. Yeah, I told them the story how when we moved here. Hi, Samantha. When we moved here, it was during the pandemic, and the town had asked us to put our Halloween goodies for trick-or-treaters in bags. So I did that, and I used it to promote my business that had just opened, and I stuck a little sticker saying "Happy Halloween" from Stephen and Kevin with our address, and I put Park Avenue Dog Grooming, which is my business. So, all right, I'm gonna just keep this simple. You could stamp this with embossing ink and then use embossing powder. I'm just going to use the archival ink on this, just so we don't have this live being 3 hours. This is just meant to be a final one to give you a few more ideas. And when you're doing what I'm going to do, you might not, some of you might want to, but you're not going to want to spend 10 hours embossing everything. Especially, yeah, it'll make sense once I have it finished. Let me just get this stamped. Archival ink does not stamp as nice. And this ink pad is as old as I have been paper crafting, which is like 11 years. Kevin, I can't believe you said that. They did not have razor blades in for the kids. All right, I just want to get that a bit darker. So that is right here. Okay, good, good, good. So let me just grab the die for that. Where did you go here? So bat die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the image, and then I'm going to cut out a second piece that's just blank. Actually, before I go anywhere, I should probably clean this off. All right. So I'm going to just run this through my die cut machine. I'm going to live on the wild side, and I'm not taping it down. This could backfire. Okay, I am I'm going to tape it down because it's being a you know what. Let me just grab some tape just so we don't move. Okay, so I've got the bat cut out once. There we are, and I'm going to cut it out one more time. And these dies just cut so beautifully. Vellum, I'm sure as many of you know, can be notoriously difficult to die cut, but they cut just perfect. All right, so this was my other idea. Hopefully you don't think it is stupid, but where did I put them? So I think I showed you these. I have these reusable straws, and I'm just going to take one of the straws, and we're going to make a straw cover. So, you know, let's just get this on. And so I'm just going to glue one side. And it might be better to use like a score tape or whatever. But I'm going to be more difficult on myself. Let's just pop. There we go. There we are. A little bat straw. And you could do this with most of the images. You could pop it on. Now I'm going to put more glue on mine so it doesn't move around. So I'm just going to put it like so, just to hold it. There we go. Okay. And then I just so happen to have this cool mug I got at the dollar store as well. Here, I'm going to switch cameras. Do, 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 do. There we go. Bat straw. Isn't that cute? And just imagine even if you're having a Halloween party, you could display all your straws in here with the different covers. People can just pick their straw they want, and then they don't get your drinks mixed up. So yeah, bat straw. Love that. Let me just switch back here. Okay. And that was just a quick and easy one. And if you wanted, this stamp is pretty symmetrical. You probably could stamp and then just flip it and have the design on both sides. But again, that's totally up to you how much you want to spend time on creating. All right. So let's put that, and let's create one more project. My goal was to have this just be about an hour. So I'm going to grab some of my mixed media paper that we use. Or do I want to do, yeah, we'll do, you know what? I'm going to do some Copic. I haven't done any Copic coloring this time, so why not? I'm going to just pop this on. And I'm going to use this pumpkin because this pumpkin is dying to be Copic colored, if you ask me. So let me just grab a Copic friendly ink. Okay. I love this pumpkin, or jack-o'-lantern, I should say. And of course, it stamps perfect the first time. But let's just do one more for good measure. Why not when you have a Misty? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to put that, let me just clean up. And let's grab, we've got to do Happy Haunting. I apologize for my coughing. Like I said, I'm just getting over being sick. So we'll use some that. And I think I'm going to use the oxide inks. Let's do, I need a green. Let's do some Modlon. So I'm just going to stamp in Modlon, and then I'm going to grab Black Soot, and we're going to go from the bottom up And I have a feeling this is going to be amazing. Perfect. I love it. But I do want the haunting to be black, fully black. So I'm going to just stamp that to make it a bit darker. Oh, and then the T needs to be where's my T? That should be better. There we go. Okay. Let's clean this off. Okay. So let's do some quick Copic coloring. It wouldn't be alive if I didn't do any Copic. And this is honestly probably overkill because there's not a whole lot of open space. So I'm gonna grab my E18, E19. Where's my I need E18, E19. And I'm going to do, let's do some YR18. And we'll do Y17. So these are the colors I'm going to use for my pumpkin. Okay. So with my E18, just going to go over down the creases. And this is kind of easy because, you know, you can see where the artist has created the shadows already. So it really takes the guessing out. Okay. And I'm going to go to E19. Yay, I'm glad you like it, Sammy. Oh, and I just saw what Kevin wrote. Oh, thanks, boo. I'm just going to thicken my lines. Like I said, this is probably overkill, but I just wouldn't feel right not doing, wouldn't feel me if there wasn't some element of Copic, just to show that you can Copic color these if you'd like. Now I'm going to go to YR18. The nice thing is you don't have to be super picky with coloring this either. It's pretty forgiving. Now we'll do some Y17. Oh, sorry, I'm having a dog having a little dream. Let me just wake her up. Sorry. She wasn't impressed being woken up. I don't know if you heard that. Okay. Let's see. So this is again Y17. I'm not going to be overly picky. Okay. Okay, and I think I'm just gonna add using the Y18, just a little zhuzhy here and there. Okay, and then let's do, I'm just gonna randomly pick, got YG93, this is probably darker than, so I'm just gonna go in with that, and then with some YG63. And we need something a little, I'm gonna grab YG97. I'm literally just pulling. I don't normally do this, but okay. And then we'll go with our lightest YG63. Okay, there we go. And let's zhuzh this a bit. I'm gonna grab, if I can find a white pencil. Just gonna hit some spots where I wanna create extra highlights so it feels like it's glowing. We'll go just around the perimeter. Okay, kind of gives it that sketchy look. Okay, and let's cut this out. Okay, there's my pumpkin. And we need the words. Is this happy haunting? No, that's not it. Where are you? Is this it? Happy haunting. There we go. Okay, we'll tape those. I love how these sentiments are with the distress oxide and mixing the colors. It definitely is easier than using the dye inks. Thank you, Julie. All right, let's just get that. There we go. Move that down a smidge. Okay, I'm gonna just run that through my die cut machine. Now I could have done a better job cutting that out, so let's just fix that because my OCD will just not be happy. There we go. That makes it a bit better. All right. Okay. And let me just put these back before I lose them. All right. So my final idea was to make like if you're a planner person, you could stick these together, put a paper clip on there, and you can use it in your planner. Or in my case, I'm going to use a dollar store mini clothes peg. So I'm going to glue the back of this. Actually, I'm not going to glue. I'm going to use score tape because I want this sucker to stay. Let me just grab my small score tape. Oh, thank you, Samantha. Okay. Well, let's see if we can find. There it is. So I'm just going to put some score tape. Just go on this side. I can get more. So let's stick this on the pumpkin, our pumpkin king. And I think I want him to be like that. Okay. And then do I want, can I move him? I think I want him lower down. Yeah, that's better because I don't want to see the clothespin. Okay, and I am just going to add some glue. There we go. And I need some glue just along here. So then, if you wanted, where's one of my journals? Where did you go, journal? I had you somewhere. Where is something I can show? So just pretend this, your journal or whatever. You can pop it in there. If you're a planner person, journal person, or we could create another treat bag and you can create your own pattern bag. So let's grab, I'm going to use my block. I'm going to use the feather. I'm going to use the bone. And let's see if I can fit the crow on here. I'm just going to be kind of quick about this. Okay, we'll grab some. Just going to grab a black ink. Yes, you read my mind, Julie. So I'm not going to fuss too much about this being super, super perfect. And it would help if you had like a cushioned back on here to make sure this is fully stamped. And it's probably better if you don't try and stamp them all at once, but it adds to the distressed vintagey look. So let's go. We'll put him here. And we'll do our birdie friend here. Oh goodness, I'm getting my fingers all inky. Okay. Okay. And we'll do and we'll do one more right here. Okay, good enough. Let's clean our stamps. So if you wanted to kick this up a notch, grab a white pencil. Let's just color in the bones. This is like excessive, so you don't have to obviously do this, but it just kind of adds that little bit of pop. Okay. And maybe we want to do a bit of splatter. I'm going to just use some walnut stain distress ink. Okay. Perfect. Let's clean that up. And imagine this is fully dried. Let's just open this up. And it's going to be a lovely, you can fold this over perhaps a few times. Pop our tag topper on it. And it could even be if you're, on Halloween, maybe your kid or your grandkid or whatever is going to school for Halloween for their lunch bag, all decorated up. So there we have it. I'm going to flip cameras and we can show everything we have made this get together. All right. So obviously our happy Halloween treat bag slash lunch bag or whatever you want. A little, could even be a birthday gift if you have Halloween, you know, Halloween birthday, or just your planner or journal clip. And you could, like I said, you could put a paper clip on the back of this if you wanted. We have our Boo to You trick or treat bag. And then, oops, I stepped forward. Then if we have a Halloween party, a little sippy straw cover. And then let's go over our projects we made in the previous week. So we have obviously our Creep It Real memory decks with obviously you have your little tabs. You could put stuff on the back if you want. You've got Spirit memory decks with tucks and all that. Multiple tucks. This has got a pocket. And these two we designed to kind of go together. Imagine that in your memory decks. You can see little bits behind. We have a happy haunting card to send out. Then we have our Witching You Well with the little pull, which if you want to journal on or stick a picture on or whatever. And our Happy Haunting card. So what did we do? We made 2 cards, 3 memory decks, a Halloween treat bag, straw cover, and we've got either a planner clip or a lunch bag combo. So yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful time during the Cauldron of Creativity craft along. And I hope you guys learned lots and enjoyed it and felt like you got lots out of it. And I have a feeling there'll be maybe something in the future, another one of these type things. So any feedback you guys have for the class, anything you'd like to see in the future, just shoot Stamp Anything a message, either email or the Facebook page. We love your input, and we always want to keep it improving and making these things better. This was a a little trial to see how it would do, and you guys were wonderful. So thank you all so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.